Here is the cast
Whoa.
of our podcast,
Guess I'll
everybody.
watch his stream so I can
You
redeem
guys
more
are
cube
these are
tickets.
all people that y'all kind of know and love from the stream. They're in the chat a lot of times, so you guys have seen them around, but they're not exactly like people that pop up on the stream every now and then. But yes, we have our wonderful cast of podcast hosts together, or I guess I'm the host, but podcast participants here. Um, we have Eric, FNA, Noah, Zev, and Roger here. So we're gonna go down the line and introduce every single one of them, and we'll start with, I guess, from Roger. Can you talk about?
Oh shit.
So introduce yourself, your main, kind of what characters you play, and like what's your main's like item level, and like how long you've been playing.
Um, hey everyone, I'm Roger. Unfortunately, I'm a gunslinger main.
Ooh, ooh.
My item level is
Yikes.
1622, and yeah, kind of smudge, not Daymine ready, but not Daymine hard ready, but it's okay. I also play Deadeye as an alt. I For my supports, I have a bard, and I have a my bard and my Deadeye are both 1610, but I also have an artist for Miso. So and I also have a
Huh?
war dancer. So yeah, those are my six gold earners.
Awesome, awesome. And how long have you been playing for?
I've been playing for since launch. So what is that, like
Since
two
launch?
years?
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. What? Yeah,
Yeah. What?
I don't know. All right, cool. Next one, Zev. What is your main, and what is your main six roster level? I guess, or main six, kind of like main and alts, and then how long have you been playing for?
Okay. Hey y'all. I look around in Ozzy check in Twitch chat sometimes. My main Zeb is a gun lancer. I'm 1640, and then my alts they're all 1620 from my second to sixth. It's like War Dancer, Deathblade, Arrow, Glavier, and Paladin. They're all like kind of like synergy if they're not the support. And as far as how long I've been playing, since launch, we're all day like Roger, you and I all started the same day. Day
Yeah,
one streamers. I mean not
yeah.
streamers. Day one Lost
Gamers.
Arkers gamers, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
that's it.
not 1640, guys. 1620. Everything's 1620. But you do plan to push everything to 1630 for hard mine, right?
Uh, yeah, we can get into it when we get to the day mine part. But my
But yeah, your
basic
main
plan is
1640, right? Your main 1640.
my main is 1640. For most of my alts, I have the mats to push to 1630. I think I want to kind of like learn hard on my main, and then I can push them up as need be, and then I could be doing the hard then. But for now, I'm keeping that at 1620. So my main is 1640. Every alt gold earner is 1620.
Yeah. And wait, what are your other alts at right now? Like, what are most of your alts at? Like, besides your six main ones?
Oh, okay. Okay, so aside from my alts, so my gold earner alts 1620, they're all 40 set by the way also. I have two non-gold earners at 1620 as well, which are 35 set. And then my next two are 1615, and then I have two supports at 1610. And then I have four 1600s. I have one 1593. That's my power pass, and then everybody else is 1490.
Damn, you have so many 1600
Yeah, we could do an
plushes.
account review whenever,
Yeah, we'll do
and
a
then people can take
roster
a
review
look.
for sure.
It'll take like an hour.
Yeah, it
I
would. It
mean,
would.
the most important ones are just my gold earners.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Zev. Noah, you're next. Main, your alts, and what's your main's item level, and how long have you been playing for?
So I am also unfortunately a gunslinger main. 1625.
Rest in
Ooh.
peace.
I have a 1620 artist, 1610 soul eater arcana, and then I have a 1605 deathblade and a 1600 war dancer. I've been playing since release. I've been having fun with soul eater and deathblade, so if my gunslinger could be replaced, it'd be by them. But I'm too poor, unlike Zev here.
Yeah, Zev kind of he's kind of got money, so he just kind of throws it around at his characters, I guess, or he has the ability to. Yes, and for those who are asking, it is not G to G, guys. I know this guy IRL, and he would never G to G.
It is
Like
not GDG,
he is
unfortunately.
not a G. Like he would never G to G. It's all from Scamazon. He's getting scammed by Amazon every day.
But
Uh,
yeah, other than that, I have a dropped 1600 Slayer, Soulfist, whatever else classes are in the game. I dropped them all.
To drop your gunslinger.
I want to, but it's too far in. I'm sorry.
And next up, FNA. You guys all, for the most part, a lot of you guys know FNA already, but because she talks quite a bit in the Twitch chat in the past couple months or so. But you know, FNA, go ahead and introduce yourself. What's your main? What is your six kind of your six roster? What's your main item level, and how long have you been playing for?
So I main Igniter Sword, 1630. I have Bard, 1620, Alt Sorc, 1610, Soul Eater, 1610. I passed my Summoner, which is almost 1600, and I also have Arcana and Aeromancer, and I've been playing since launch.
Summoner. That's still one of your.
Uh,
It's still one of your gold earners.
Yep,
What item level is that?
it's 1694, or 1594, excuse me.
1690.
1694. This
Bro.
man is past KR. That's crazy.
1594. I'm still pushing it.
Yeah, and you have like so how many sorts do you have in your main six right now?
I have two.
Okay.
I have a
Okay.
third that I put in sometimes because it's like 1556. I
Yeah, and
mainly
it
play
does
five
more damage than
characters and
1600. It's not fair. And wait, did you say how long you've been playing for?
yeah, since launch.
Got it. All right, and then last but not least, Eric, what is your main? Your six gold earners, your main's item level, and how long have you been playing for?
Yo, what's up? So I main a Reaper currently at 1623, and my six gold earners are all above 1580, but I have three 1620s, and I have like two other DPSs, a GS and a Slayer at 1600. So I have three characters ready for Daymine. I'm actually pushing my support to 1630 for hard in a few weeks, even though I do not main Bard.
This is a man of the people right here, pushing a support for his party.
Yeah, dude, our group has no second support.
Could have told me to push artist, man.
I'd rather play support than you play support.
Why is that?
Holy shit!
Support is too important in at this stage in the game. I feel like
Ah.
it's a way more important job than DPSing.
I see. So it's not that you're not saying that Noah sucks at support. It's more you're saying you're probably a
Oh,
little
of
bit
course
better.
not.
Oh no, he's terrible at support.
What the fuck?
Got it. Well, thank you all for introducing yourselves. Yes, these guys are people that I play with all the time, and honestly, they're like all better than I am. It is what it is. I'm just a clown in front of a camera, guys. I'm not actually good at the game. I mean, you guys on my stream already probably know that. You guys know that I'm not good at the game, but these guys are actually all way better than I am at the game. So hopefully we can look towards them for their expert insight, their expert knowledge and information as well.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't always the case, like when first, I'm not saying this just because, but to be honest, in the beginning of the game, you had some experience and,
Oh yeah,
other
yeah. When
places.
I was a
Yeah.
beater. Yeah, I was better than
Yeah.
all of y'all at the beginning, and then
You would throw Pharaoh and stuff, and I would have no clue when to throw any kind of bomb or anything, or I would not do any damage. I mean, I still don't, I guess, but so I mean, you have experience in the game, and it's just people have the same amount of time and they catch up, I guess. But yeah, I learned a lot, back then. You knew so much.
Got it. Okay. So All right. So I guess, let's kind of like start with the podcast and the topics. I have a couple of kind of questions lined up. But if certain questions take us a certain place that is not on the kind of quote unquote script, we can kind of go down that way. But I want to start kind of lightly and talk a little bit about like, this event. I think this event has been like, I don't know. I think everybody's been really happy about this event so far in terms of like what it's given us, like all the materials, all the juice, all the support. Like everybody's been really happy about this event and also like, the class itself. But we're just talking about the event right now. In this event, do you guys have any like initial thoughts? Like what do you guys think? Do you guys are you liking it, or do you think it's enough? Do you think it's more than expected? Like any thoughts from you guys?
Honestly, it's kind of crazy because never in a million years expect to hit 1600 in a week. Pretty much in a week, right? Because like from the moment you get a character and then just pushing it with all the mats and stuff, it's kind of insane how fast you can hit 1600. So I think it's pretty
I hit
nice.
1610 basically with this. Sure, it was plugged
Yeah.
at 1540 for the longest, but I mean, so many bound mats and everything that I had, I just pushed it to 1610.
Wait,
Pretty easy.
you push it at 1610 in week one?
No, week 2. But
Week 2,
I
okay.
used it with like basically all the bound mats that I had from the event.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of mats.
1600 was basically free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's
it's
say that.
literally free. Yeah.
at least if
I
you
also
had the,
like
I think
that
the
they,
shards for it.
I like that they split it too, because like I used the books and stuff from like the higher level event to help push it to 1620 finally, but I used the other two events on a character I already had that was 1550, and now it's almost 1600 with very little investment.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what did
Yeah,
y'all hone your characters to?
1600.
Mm-hmm. Zev?
Yeah, 1600. I mean, right now I'm 1593 on that character, but I plan to go to 1600 and then maybe in 1610. Honestly,
Got it, got it. And then Noah?
1610. That's my Arcana.
Uh-huh. And then FNA, where did you hone your character up to?
My summoner's 1594, and it's only because I got weapon first. Like I didn't go for all armor because I'm not concerned about pushing it too fast. But I mean, I could with all the bound she has get her to 1600 easily, even getting weapon week 1.
Got it, got it. And Eric, well, you push your Reaper, right? I think it was at
Yeah, I made a
1580
second
last night I
Reaper.
played it.
I
Play
parked
with
it
it?
at 1580. It's probably gonna stay there for a while. It's there literally just to make me go because I'm too lazy and no other class kind of interests me at the moment.
I mean, honestly though, for a while, I mean, with the Lunar Reaper rework, man, that class is something else. It is so good now. It's like it feels really smooth to play. It's strong. I mean, at the end of the day, I always say it's just better Deathbow Striker, but a little salty about that. But yes, it like I don't know. I don't blame you for making a second Reaper. But do you have Hunger and Lunar on both for like on both of them?
Yeah, I have both builds. I carry extra set of 9 and 10 gems for both the builds, which is not very economical, but I don't really play any other classes. I only play like 4 unique classes, like Reaper, GS, Sork, Bard. Oh, and I guess Slayer. That's it.
Did it cost you guys any like how much did it cost y'all to hone up to where you guys hone to?
Like literally nothing. This new Reaper to 1580 took like I don't know, like 20, 30k gold at most.
Yeah, I
1600
think
probably
the same.
took me probably like. Well, I made a summoner, right? I passed the summoner. Lol.
Lol.
No summoner, no summoner.
Imagine. Here, listen to my logic. Listen to my logic, right? Because I have such a shit main, which is a gunslinger. I need to play a class that's worse than a gunslinger to make my gunslinger feel good, right? It's a whole bunch of copium, but it's working so far. And now that I've been playing my summoner for a while, I'm starting to think summoner is stronger than gunslinger.
There's no
Actually,
dude, summoner does fucking numbers.
I mean, I don't think everybody ever said that Summoner didn't do damage, right? Especially Master Summoner. But like they
There's a
always
reason
said it
Yeah.
was just very clunky, right? And
Yeah,
slow.
it's fucking stupid strong. Like I was just like, what the fuck is this class?
I mean, dude,
but
you
I
put a
enjoy
level
it.
lot of
10 damage
damage.
gem on it on the
I
first
probably,
day.
but to answer your question, it probably cost me like I want to say like maybe like 80K gold to hit 1600, which is honestly really,
80K?
which is pretty cheap.
Actually, oh, you're right.
It's
1600. 1600.
It was a fun
1600,
character for him as well. So
I forget. FA, did you push an existing character or did you get a new one?
yeah, existing. It's already had a bunch of bound and shards and stuff.
And how much did it cost you? Like nothing, basically?
I think to where I'm at right now, it's like 30K, maybe
not
40.
bad.
It's hard to tell because we got some gold back from the events too, but I
Mhm.
didn't see a dent in my gold at all.
Yeah. And Noah, how much did it cost you?
Since I pushed it to 1610, I think it's just mostly gold cost after 1600. Probably like 200K.
Got it. Got it. And
that's still not bad.
yeah, no, that's not bad.
I got very lucky.
Yeah. And Mr. Zev over there, how many dollars did it cost you? I'm not even gonna ask gold.
I mean, like, honestly, it's very cheap. Like the all the events combined, and also the fact that everybody's like saving up and stockpiling. Like, you know, who could have seen this coming? Even though it happened like almost 9 out of 10 times. Everybody's stockpiling radiant like leaps and stuff, and then by the time the event hits, the price goes down. You know, from like the night before, and so it's really cheap to hone up. Yeah, I obviously didn't share the same sentiment with FNA, even more so. I didn't notice any kind of gold cost to it. I mean, sure.
Well, I mean, if you have like 5 million gold, you know, 30K minus 5 million gold is basically 5 million still, you know.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, a fifth of a week's of raid, even though that's hardly a factor of the entire bank. But yeah, it was very cheap, and in fact, I'm even buying the buses at this point. I just can't be bothered to play a non-gold earner.
Wow.
It's
Hey, you
fine.
trying to get bust?
I mean, you know, you give me a good deal. I mean, I'm just so I'm trying to spend less time on this game. I think I spend way too much time on this game.
Yeah.
And if it's parting with some of my gold, is fine. Just, you know.
You know, at this point, just don't even play the game at all. Just pay for everything.
I think it's still
Dude,
fine.
that's what I said.
And, you know, I'm excited about upcoming raids coming out. You know, I do want to experience that. But there's so much homework at a certain point. I want to cut back from it.
And
Anyway.
I guess, are you guys happy with your choices? Are you happy with your choices? Or are you, you know, kind of like looking a little side eye, kind of like, I wish I kind of pushed that character up?
I like my choice because my current roster is a lot of consistent DPS classes. So I play a lot of like like Gunslinger, Deadeye. I play FI War Dancer. I play like Sharpshooter. I play Reaper, and it's all like this all the classes they kind of just go and press buttons, But having like I guess a summoner is very different playstyle from all the rest, right? So it's a nice change of pace for me. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't regret my choice for any reason really, but after seeing how much damage Breaker does, I'm like, damn. I'm a meta chaser. That's why I made Soul Eater and Deathblade and everything. So I was like seeing myself miss out on all that. I was like,
Kind of sucked when Punchker's out DPS'd your 1600
Yo,
plus
let's not
Deathblade.
let's not talk about that, all right? Let's not talk about that. It's just it's the player, not the class.
Class is broken. No pun intended.
No.
I mean, we can talk about it more when we get to it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess who F&A, are you happy with your push? I mean, I'm assuming you are. You didn't push up a new character.
Yeah, I like Summoner a lot. I'd been playing her without honing her for a long time, so this seemed like a good chance to just push her. And I, was able to take all the event gems and take all her gems off of her and fuse them and stuff. Like, it just made sense to do.
And Eric, I'm assuming, like, how does it feel to play two of the same classes now? Because you've never done that before, right?
No, actually,
He's
I have
done
done
that?
that before. Back when I used to play Sword,
Oh,
I
that's
played
Sword.
four Swords,
That's
bro.
right. But then you dropped them all, except for one.
Yeah, I dropped them all.
But
honestly, like, I was only playing like 5 characters anyway, so this event kind of gave me a permanent like 6 gold earner, so I'll take it.
Got it, got it. Yeah, and I mean, y'all know me. I push up a breaker, and that shit, woo!
Yeah, you're a meta
That is
chaser.
strong.
Meta
That
chaser.
boy busted. No, I'm not a meta chaser. What are you talking about?
I don't
You
wanna
need
hit
to take a
my
shower after you do a raid when you play that class. That class is disgusting.
I do feel disgusting playing that class. You're right. But the crazy thing is, a lot of people don't think it's disgusting. Because I posted a video the other day talking about how like Breaker is like the strongest or like the best class in the game, and people were like, huh, "Yeah, totally. Look at the lower logs, all mid damage." Or like, yo, Sur Breaker, not that busted. It doesn't actually. It's like just wait until the boss moves. Like it's not practical. I'm like, guys,
No.
the
I
class
think
is just really crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
it's just people trying to learn the class really for the first couple of weeks. People are gonna start noticing more and more how strong it truly is when people.
I don't
get
know.
paid.
There's a lot of shit soul eaters in the game still.
Yeah, I was
Listen,
gonna
man, stop
say
talking about
people
me,
also
man.
gatekeeps soul eaters too, saying they do Z.
Yeah, especially that F and A girl Soul Eater, kind of garbo.
Excuse me?
Conria sucks.
My there's 1600 War Dancer fucking gapped the 1620 Soul Eater with 40 elixirs in Braille today.
You DDoS him or what? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Sounds like you kind of did some outside of game disabling, more like.
I don't know.
You know, you're right. Soul Eater sucks, guys. Soul Eater sucks. Buff that
Soul
class.
Eater.
Buff that
Buff
class.
Yeah,
specifically.
buff soul eater, I agree.
No, stop.
Listen, against compared to Breaker, man, I buff everything, dude. Such stuff included.
I mean,
I mean,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, like, you know, when you introduce like the fact that you don't have to hit the boss to build up the meter for the Ashura, and then you could just, you know, go ham when you can't. Like, what's the excuse for like Deathblade nowadays, where you have to hit the boss to build stacks? It's just so disgusting how crazy the power creep is. That's all I was gonna say.
It's so
Yeah.
strong. It is so strong. I guess, you know, this kind of like is a good segue into like the Breaker as a class and like what you guys think about it. Like, none of you guys actually play Breaker, right? Well, Zev, you have your, you know, Breaker probably like 1490 or something like that. I'm assuming. Or you...
It's the one I power passed. Mine's at 1593. But I have played it a few times in Guardian. I don't know the class to the same level that you do, but I mean, on paper, it's just very strong. And if you can min max, like, you know, the damage, you're gonna outpace other classes at eye levels you shouldn't be outpacing them at.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most of us have seen like Sura. Have any of you guys experienced like Burger King much?
What the fuck is
Brawl
that?
King? It's Brawl King.
Brawl King. Brawl King.
Brawl King.
I actually ran with one in Voltus Pug actually on my Deadeye. It's actually pretty strong. That dude was able to keep up with my damage, if not like pass me in some gates. And I think
Was
my
he
Deadeye
level
is
60 yet?
he was not level 60 and he was also just 5'3". He did have
Yeah.
10s, but still it was like I don't know, my Deadeye is pretty I feel like my Deadeye is pretty good. And yeah, he was actually able to just like keep up with me.
We've seen the damage of I'm not sure. I think I've only seen Sura, but you're the only one I know that's level 60 even. I'm guessing all your tripods are max, but I've been seeing them roaming around doing decent damage. They're not 60, probably don't have max tripods, all event gems.
And they're out here pumping like crazy. Like, I think that the class is I don't know. It's just I think it's just so good at like so many things, right? And Brawl King is a little bit, I'd say, clunkier, but it's still extremely strong. And like the fact that it's Hitmaster is like makes it an extremely powerful and like flexible class. It can be a little bit slow at times, but I'd say that in general, it's just it's got that new class shine to it, you know? Like pretty much like if we think back to the history of Lost Ark, other than like I mean, even when Aeromancer first came out, it was fairly strong. It wasn't like ridiculously strong, but it did kind of receive a couple nerfs to kind of put it where it is right now. But release Aeromancer was not bad. And then release Slayer was ridiculous, especially Punisher Slayer. And then Soul Eater, we know that it's still a ridiculous class right now. And then Breaker now, like, every single class that they release is just like ridiculously busted. And I mean, that's something that we see across all games, right? It's not just Lost Ark.
Yeah, I
True.
would agree.
Like a
Yeah.
bunch of you guys have played League, and you guys have seen that happen in League too. Like every time a new champ comes out, it's just crazy strong.
Just they're
It's just
broken from
meta
release,
defining.
and then they gotta bring it down a few notches.
Oh, they
Mhm.
just
There's
want to
a
sell
reason
it.
for that too. Like first impressions matter a lot when it comes to like new classes or new
Mhm.
releases.
It sells more if it's better.
Like if you release something underpowered, less people are gonna play it and stick to it. And then like when you actually buff it to where it's like pretty good, like at that point, not a lot of people are
The
gonna
player
touch
base
it.
is lost. Yeah.
I mean, do you guys think they're gonna nerf Breaker again? Because they've already nerfed it once, right?
I think so.
Have we
I
Well,
think
had that,
I
Pat?
I
think
think so.
I feel like they shouldn't nerf it. Hear me out. They shouldn't nerf it, but they should catch up the other classes.
Yeah.
And the
yeah, they
scaling
should.
becomes so crazy when they do that.
Yeah. Like
But
I feel like what they did with Sharpshooter kind of makes sense, no? Like it was fucking strong as shit, and then it just got power crap. But it's still good, but it's not as strong as it used to be compared to the other classes. I feel like they should just do that with all the shitty classes. I'm Gunslinger, but anyways.
I mean,
No, nerf Gunslinger, man.
I think it's easier if they nerf one class versus like buffing several classes up, because then they could throw the balance more off. I mean, they should be upgrading. I mean, buffing those underutilized classes also to keep up with like
Yeah,
new
I
class
agree.
release. But like, it's just easier to just, I mean, tone it. I mean, I still think it's a little crazy even now since we got like the nerf version,
Mhm.
and it's not like the unnerf version. It's still crazy, but whatever.
I mean, I think that they also just do that in general in games like we were talking about earlier. What they do is like they make the latest content harder, but then they buff
Mhm.
the classes to kind of be able to keep up with the content. But it kind of sucks because it makes like the older content like less, I guess, like relevant, right? Because like the stronger your characters get, the more they get buffed. Like we see like hell mode content, right? We also talk about how
Yeah.
like at the beginning of the game, like hell mode was way harder than it is now. Like now, like Helton is pretty much just like a walk in the park, not just because people have played extreme, right? It's because like the game itself has gotten, the characters have gotten stronger and the content has not changed because throughout the time.
Yeah.
So it just gets easier and easier and easier.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I mean about it's difficult to just bring everything up because of that exact reason. Like we're still doing all this homework content. A lot of these older raids are still relevant, and they're not going to
Mhm.
scale up those bosses, or at least they haven't done that to compensate for increased damage across the board.
Yeah. And
But I mean,
again,
it's homework content, so it's kind of like who cares, I guess. But
yeah, but I think like it's also like you don't want, because some of it's not homework, like it is homework content, but it's not like extreme homework content, right? Like if for example certain classes didn't get buffed or buffed to the point where they are right now, maybe like hard brow would still be like a lot harder. Because remember when hard brow first came out, it was such a hard raid, and to this day I still
Mhm.
think it is a hard raid for people who don't understand the mechs and stuff like that. But in terms of actually doing the raid itself, so many of the mechs themselves have just become very obsolete, right? It's kind of like in many cases, Brell has just become like a punching bag because you don't have to worry about like meteor placement anymore. You don't have to worry about like all these things anymore. And I don't know. It is kind of sad sometimes, but I would, maybe it's like buffing and catching things up, but not to like the level that it's been pushed to. But it's all, at that point, it's all kind of like our opinions, right?
I think Bro was just, when we got Bro, it was too hard. I mean, like for the player base in general, because like we saw like the biggest drop in players when Bro came out, and I think Smaug kind of learned from that when they finally put Bro into China, and they have like this very nerf version where second hallucination doesn't invert, or I guess hallucination doesn't invert your controls. I don't know. They made some changes to it, and they've got an even easier version of Bro than we have now. And I mean, I don't know. It's a numbers game, and you want to create like hard content, but you also want to keep people in the game. If you make it like 6 gates like we got it, people are just gonna get burnt out and never come back. And It's kind of what we saw. So I'm kind of happy that Ray got nerfed, Bro got nerfed, but I kind of see what you mean. I mean, you kind of lose out on the magic of when you did the raid the first time, and you had to go through all this kind of learning, and the people just don't have to see that nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is good that the game gets easier as we go. Like the older stuff gets easier as we go, just for like new players, because Lost Ark is a very hard game, and like it does kind of like on top of everything, making like these raids so hard for a new player can really suck for them, especially with the amount of they get gate kept for, and like finding learning raids can be hard sometimes. I get it, but I kind of wish that there was some way that we could experience like the old content the way it is. Like it might not be like a gold earning way. I mean, there is hell mode, right? But again, hell mode over time will also get power crept because the classes get stronger and stronger. So I do wish that there was some way to kind of experience the game as it was, but I don't think that's kind of like entirely necessary either. I think that the game itself it's okay. It's not there's never going to be a perfect case, right? It's always going to be some people are happy with certain things and some people aren't. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think that kind of leads us next into like the balance of the game, right? What do you guys think about like the overall balance of Lost Ark? Like, of course, we have some extremely strong classes right now and some, not so great classes as well. But are they that like is the difference between the strongest classes in the game that much significantly stronger than like the weakest class in the game? I mean, I kind of know the answer, but I wanted to get open up the discussion to you guys. Like, do you guys think that there's like it's like a huge disparity right now?
I don't know, because it's hard, right? Because the skill level is so different. It's so like it's so vast in the game, right? Where it's like somebody could be really bad at the game in a party with somebody who's really good, but if you give the person who's really good like the weakest class in the game, they should be able to beat the person who's like who has like a they should be able to beat the other person. But it's like I don't know. I kind of like the challenge of going against stronger classes just to see if my quote unquote weaker classes can keep up with it. And a lot of times it's able to pass them up, right? But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It might be weird, but I'm actually okay with how they're doing things. But maybe that's just like me. I don't really find an issue with it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Roger, to an extent. Like, I do think, like, when you compare, like, Breaker to CO Summoner, that's kind of fucked up. But you still see when there's a lot of skill expression in all of these classes, and some especially like Arcana and stuff. But you do find that, or at least I do find in this game, that people can get MVP, damage MVP with some of the quote unquote worst classes. And that says a lot about the balance not being that terrible.
Yeah. And I like to see that, I'd like to see an underdog class just like shit on meta classes in a raid. And it's like, oh shit. That's like refreshing to see, And I don't think it's all that bad. I think it just in MMOs in general, people just complain a lot.
But do you think that a CO summoner can beat like let's say like the one of the best let's say like one of the best, not even the best, like one of the top CO summoners? Do you think that on average that they'll beat like a average / above average like Surge Blade or like Syrup Breaker or something like that? Do you think that like on average that's going to happen, or do you think that it's like really really hard for that to happen?
I think on average it would happen. If
they're
you're
on the
saying
same
if this
skill level?
if the CO summoner is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the CO summoner should shit on an average Death Blader at almost all the time. I would say so. Because they would have more raid knowledge, more like better hands, and it's just like I think that alone will take you. Yeah, he just knows the class better, or she, I guess, or they, or them.
Because the reason why, like a lot of the reason why a lot of classes like Soul Eater and like Death Blade are seen as like kind of gatekept sometimes is because of the players that they have. Now, people could be very good and trash on everybody, but a lot of the player base just doesn't have the skill level to
Yeah.
keep up, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So you guys do think that the bottom tier class can definitely, if you're really good at them, can beat like the average player at like with a top tier class.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I think at the
Yeah,
end of the
I
day,
do.
like the weakest classes can still clear the content in the game, and you know, I mean, people gatekeep because of like homework, time constraints, stuff like that. But like, they can definitely perform, and you know, you can play whatever. Like, people can play kind of whatever class they want, and they can still perform. I mean, it's just, you know, there's facts that like there are top tier classes that do top tier damage for a reason. But yeah, you can still play your like lower end classes and still perform fine. I've seen that happen several times.
There are pumpers for every
Same.
single class in the game, but some are more common than others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yeah.
do you guys think any class at the moment needs a nerf?
Gunslinger.
Honestly,
Outside of Breaker,
Gunslinger.
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 And nerf
Nerf that
class.
shit
class
to
is
the
crazy.
fucking ground.
GT Destroyer.
How is people saying Gunslinger is a shit class and I'm out here MVPing in every raid? What?
Honestly, true though.
Right? That's nuts.
Yeah, so
that's why the
Gunslinger
bouncing's
OP.
actually like pretty good in this game. Like it's not as bad as like when we exaggerated like all the time. Like honestly, like being non-biased, the bouncing's not bad. Like
mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've
there
come
are
from other
some
games where
cases.
some classes are just, or some specs of that class are just fucking dead. Like you just can't play it at all.
Yeah.
True.
Like for example, like for Gunslinger, the one problem really I see with the class is not really the damage itself, but it's the fact that everything is backloaded. So like
For
sharpshooter,
Gunslinger?
focus shot, and everything.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, I always say it, right? But, like, Gunslinger's skill rotation takes 18 seconds, which is unrealistic in a lot of raids where
No, it is, and a lot
most
of
classes can get everything out in less than 10. So,
like Soul Eater, for example, or like Surge Up, you need like 8
Yeah.
seconds to get a full surge off. And
Yep.
a Gunslinger, you can
And
only
you
get like
see, like, the change coming for Igniter Sork is trying to help with condensing her damage cycle. Like,
Yeah.
I think they see that. They're just a little slower than we would like to react to that.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm okay. I'm pretty sure they're going to do something for Gunslingers, but
I do
well,
believe
imagine.
there'll be like a rework, but I mean,
Nothing changes.
nothing changes and the damage actually gets nerfed.
Fuck. Damage stays the same, boobs get smaller. Like,
Oh, that's the
Oh.
biggest nerf right
No.
there. That's the
no
biggest
way.
I'm making Breaker, man. They have bigger boobs than Gunslinger.
nerf. But you guys don't think any class needs a nerf right now?
Nope.
I don't think so. I'm okay with it.
If they don't nerf them, they need to buff like the lower end a little bit more.
Like I mean,
should
it's
buff
just the
every
common
class in the game, to
classes
be honest.
That is like fucking Reaper. Nah, not anymore. That shit is strong. But like Reflex Sork and all of those lower tier classes, I still do feel like they need some sort of a buff or like a change to
Yeah.
how you play. But I mean, overall, I don't think any class deserves to get nerfed for just playing how they are. I feel like just other classes should just get raised to a similar level.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
older
isn't a
classes
PvP
need to
game,
get-
right? Like,
yeah.
just make every class feel good to play. Like, what's wrong with
It's
that?
not like BDL. It's
True.
it's the PVE.
Yeah.
The
Older
only
classes just
competition
need to
is
get
just-
modernized.
Mhm.
That's
That
it.
too.
So, which classes do you think deserve a bit of a buff or a rework at the moment?
Um, I mean-
Definitely.
You're not saying Gunslinger?
Reflex Sword to some extent.
Reflex Sword does need a change. I mean,
Okay, I guess with Reflux Sork, right? I know Eric, you play Reflux Sork. I think your Reflux Sork is 1620 now, right?
Well, I mean,
That's
I have an
eight
igniter build on it. that
Oh, you
I'm
have an
gonna play
Igniter build
with.
on it. But do you play mostly Reflux Sork or Igniter?
Mostly igniter, but I mean, I play both. Like over the years, I just think like, okay, it's a problem with the class if it's using tripods that are meant for igniter. Like Reflex doesn't even have tripods for it. It's using magic amp tripods, and those aren't Reflex.
And its
Hmm.
identity is just like it doesn't really have identity. Like it should have some benefit to building meter besides you can blink. Like it has no real identity in my opinion.
Mhm.
But do you guys think it's in a bad place?
No. Well, actually, I mean,
Mm.
it depends what your definition of a bad place is.
Well-
Like I said, I think the balance of this game is like, when we're not exaggerating about it, it's like pretty decent. Aside from like a few exceptions at the top end and the bottom end, Like everything else in the middle, I think they're all on like a comparable like spectrum of like I don't know, like 10-20% difference. Like when you lose to someone in a raid, at least with our group, most of the time you're not gonna say class diff. You say fucking you
Player
play
diff.
bad or support diff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a lot. A lot of us are better at the game. Just on average, we're better at the game than the player base. So if we lose to someone, it's usually just skill level.
Mhm.
Damn. You're
If
all
I lose to
you're
Roger,
do
then
work HK over
I
here
just
stroking each other.
You work HK, stupid.
Yeah, we're all just that good at the game, guys. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Good job. It's
Mhm.
true though, but it's like, you know, the people we play with are very, very good players in my opinion, compared to the average players in Lost Ark.
It's spoiled me, man. I fucking hate pugging.
I mean, it's because you plug and then you're like, damn, I got MVP by like 5-10%.
Yeah.
But then
So
you
like,
play
here's the
with
crazy
us,
thing,
it's
right?
close.
So like, I'm learning Summoner. I don't really know how to play it. I did like my first Kaya pug on it the other day, and I was doing 50% every gate.
And that was without the second ready attack tripod, right?
No, I was using a ready attack
Oh,
tripod,
okay,
but
okay, okay.
it's just still, it's like, for what, right?
Because
It's
I
like, why am
remember
I doing? Yeah.
for a second you forgot to put the second ready attack tripod on your skill.
Dude, the first time I saw his summoner, I was like, what are these gems? What? But I think he figured it out. Last time I looked, it looked right.
What, my gems? Oh yeah, because I was basing it off of a KR patch, which makes no sense because we don't have it yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's fine. Class is very strong.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so do we think that any class really needs a buff? Like, actually, before we move on back to that, where would you guys put Reflex Orc on like a tier list?
Oh, it's definitely somewhere at the bottom.
I think it's just bottom.
D tier.
Because I
I
thought,
can't really think of another class that's worse.
I
So
mean,
to speak.
realistically, why would you play Reflex if you could play Igniter? Like, is there a better reason to take Reflex than Igniter, or should people just be
More
gravitating towards
stagger
Igniter?
generally. I mean, it
Okay.
might have a little bit more utility. More reliably brings a counter.
Yeah, you can definitely bring a counter for sure. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Raids
isn't
kind of
there
force you to take a counter.
Isn't there
at this
the
point.
hollow counter build? I forgot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
Hear me
you
out.
can bring counter on Igniter.
What if they put a counter on Blink?
Or just put it on Blaze,
I'd be down for
honestly.
that. Just
Hear me
modernize the
out.
class.
Doomsday,
Like, you know
man.
how Reaper
Yeah.
has fucking counter on identity?
Yeah.
That would be sick. It's like
They should put more of that into the game, you know?
do you guys think
Identity
Identity
counters.
every class should have like an on command counter that's not part of their like rotation or like their skill?
I think it would be great
I
if
don't
every
see
class
anything
had
wrong
that.
with
I
that.
feel
Fuck
like
it.
counter shouldn't necessarily be in your rotation at all.
Really?
I don't know. It feels like
I feel like every raid forces you to take a counter at this point. Like,
No, that's what he's saying. That
No,
it shouldn't
yeah,
be.
Red
It shouldn't be
Dead
part of
has
it.
to.
Yeah.
It
Like
shouldn't be
with
part of your
Dynamite,
main
ability
eight
to counter on
skills.
all that.
Yeah.
Like you need to counter a lot and everything. And I just feel that, for example, like Gunslinger, we don't use Peacekeeper at all, unless you're trying to keep adrenaline stacks or move somewhere. And you
Mhm.
should just have that on demand. I feel like every class should just have something on demand.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of like
that
Reaper
or
with
your counter be
Nightmare.
good.
Yeah.
The worst is when the counter is on the same is the same as your your synergy. Yeah, your synergy. That's the worst. That's
that
actually the
Soulfist, right?
worst. Soulfist is one of
Soulfist
those.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sky
It's
Shattering
terrible.
Blow on War Dancer.
Same with Striker. It's
Yeah,
so
it's
smooge.
just smooge. Because then you you use it and then it immediately goes into a counter, and I'm like, damn.
Should have held it for like a second longer.
Mm-hmm. But then you also like, for example, like if you're trying to like compete with DPS, you're losing uptime for a counter, and then you might
Mhm.
not have your rotation ready for it when you get that counter.
Yeah. And there's some people that like legit have like skills that they don't like counter skills, or they're like, I'm not using this skill because I want to keep it for counter. Like, definitely, I think I was doing a roster review for somebody the other day, and they were saying how for Gun Lancer dash upper fire, they're like, yeah, I don't even use the skill until I need to counter with it because it's such a good counter. Like, I
That's
feel
the
like there
wrong.
are people that do that, and it makes them do a lot less damage because of it, and like, it's just they're nerfing their own gameplay at that point. So
Um,
Yeah.
My advice to that Gun Lancer, I mean, you should be rotating Bash. So like, if Bash is on cooldown, you should have Dash Upper Fire, and then if Bash is off, then you can, Dash Upper Fire, right? So classes with 2 counters should be like rotating, so you don't lose uptime.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I think, it could be a cool idea to give every single class a counter like that. Of course, I think there's going to be people on both sides of the coin, but I do think that there is merit to it. I
That's
guess,
assuming future rate designs like demand a counter from
well, I
everyone.
mean, Theamine, for example, demands counters, right? Every class needs to have a counter in Theamine, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, at this point in the game, I think you need Stagger, Destruction, and Counter somewhere,
Yeah.
somehow in your kit. And utility does matter when it comes to picking out classes for a raid, which is something I feel Smilegate overlooks.
That's
Mhm.
why I feel partly that they should have a counter, not necessarily in your rotation, but in their kit. That doesn't have to be used. Because it's getting more and more important in these future rates to counter and whatnot. To keep up that uptime.
Or, I mean, outside of like patterns, I think maybe, if it's like non-hell content, there's like some way they refresh, or like, how they have like a cutscene and then it gives you time for your skills to come back up.
Oh, yeah.
Implement more better raid design like that versus like, oh, the mech is up right now at this percent, you should have saved your counter. I mean, that's also kind of like a skill thing as well, but like, there's ways they can mitigate it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I guess back to the topic of like buffing classes. Do you think that any class at the moment needs a buff or a rework? Like, what would you guys say is a class that comes to your mind?
Yeah, there's
Outside
a
of
couple
what?
classes that definitely need the buff more than others. Like off the top of my head, uh, Reflex Sork, FPE, DI maybe. Like there's a couple of those classes at the bottom end that need some help for sure.
Yeah, I think Arrow
GS
as
maybe.
well.
You think Arrow?
Really?
Like I don't think it needs a ton of damage, but it just seems like they said that she is like a support DPS, but now you have other classes that have been given the same kind of double synergy. Like I don't think she just by default should have lower damage just because of being good synergy. I don't think she should be
Uh,
top tier necessarily either, but
Maybe a small buff. I mean, they did
yeah,
get like that
I don't think
6%.
huge. Yeah, I
The
don't think
Yeah.
huge.
one,
I just think it's a little bit.
the one issue I have with Arrow 2 is that it's such an easy class to do damage on. I remember I heard Saintone talking about how he doesn't feel that Arrow should have as much damage as it does, as they should actually nerf it because of how easy it is to play. That's what I remember him saying. But
I mean, people just won't take it, like into like day minus stuff.
Yeah, people aren't taking it into Theamine just because of
Like,
its numbers being slightly lower on average.
and that's why I got his like latest buff. Honestly,
also with that, like I guess it matters how much value do you feel that, for example, the crit sin that comes with Arrow, how much do you value that on your team? Like for example, with a team with like a EO Sophist and an Igniter Sword, would you take one to enhance those other classes as well?
Or would you take
Or
a War Dancer, or would you take,
Oh,
I
you
think
take War Dancer,
Yeah,
100%.
that's what I'm saying. So like,
You'd always take a War Dancer
yeah, you're right. Actually, never mind.
because they give more than just crit sin, right? It's impossible to drop crit on a War Dancer, but it also gives attack speed. Like who doesn't like attack speed?
Oh yeah, Wind's Whisper. You're right.
Yeah, so it's like
They're also extremely
they should,
tanky.
yeah.
I don't know. FNA hates supporting my War Dancer for some reason.
I hate
don't-
supporting
It's
any of your
not-
DPS. It's
not
actually
about
dog
the
shit.
class, bro. It's
the player.
They're actually so dog shit to support. This dude plays at like 25% HP, doesn't want a pot. And then he dies and he's like, what happened? Like, okay.
He's limit testing, bro.
Limit testing, man. Come on.
he's limit testing and fucking Triangle, dude.
Yeah, I mean, called out. She just not.
And I can't save you from swimming, bro. I can't.
Yeah, have you seen this guy in the game? It's just something boat. Anything with a boat in it, just never run with them.
In a way.
Keep
Like,
keep
actually,
those
just
from the
don't
west.
run
To
with
be
them.
It
fair,
will
that
do
time
hella damage, but
It'll be
I'll be
unethical.
hella
can't guarantee
dead.
anything else.
Actually, that reminds me of last week on our Armor Boldness. I had like 5 stacks
That's
swim
what I'm
in
saying.
gate.
We weren't even halfway into the fight. He had swam 4 times.
No way.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, hot take, but I want players like those in my party.
ain't no way.
You say that, and then you don't want to go bugging.
No, it's different because pugs don't do damage. Like no one will fucking pump, but he'll die a lot. But I'm fine with that. I don't like playing with people that do no damage.
I see. Yeah, but I also
So what
think
you're saying is to risk it more. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, Roger. What are you going to say?
to answer your question, man, gunslingers.
You said you weren't going to say it.
Honestly,
I mean, I don't like to say my own main, yeah, but
Yeah, it's kind of cringe, you know.
Gunslinger-
It's weird. I want
if you
somebody
don't
else to say,
say
but
your
nobody
own
else said
class
it.
you play.
Fucking weird as fuck.
Gunslinger does need like a change or a buff or something.
But
It's just it used to be a good class, used to be like high A tier, but now it's just like War Dancer, Striker. Those classes exist. Why would you take a Gunslinger that has everything backloaded?
Well, I think most people would take a gunslinger over a striker. Let's be real.
you think so?
Yeah, probably now with the nerf that it got. Now you can't go
They
with
have more
think so?
las.
I don't.
I think
What?
strikers have a really bad reputation. They have such a bad reputation right now, especially on Laz Umar striker.
that set needs a rework. Honestly, like
I'm
You
telling you, it
shouldn't
needs
have
to be the.
running that card set, in my opinion.
They should just make that shit into Striker's kit, bro. Like fuck it.
No, they need to make it like side focus. Just activate it before you press your skills. I feel like that'll literally solve the issue of Azumar card set.
It'll make it less clunky for sure, but at the same time, having to press a button to like do sight focus is also a little bit annoying sometimes. But I think it's
annoying,
better
but it's
than
better.
currently
Yeah.
what it is currently at. Any other classes you think need to actually? What do you think Gunslinger needs to like in its buff or rework? Like, what do you think would make you guys happy?
Just condense the damage because everything's
Yeah.
backloaded, like Noah said. So yeah, if they can make focus shot like literally one shot, that'll cut
Like, I don't
off
mind
so
if it's
many
like a
seconds
hold
off of it.
skill, kind of, but it's just too much spread damage. It's not like a couple hits, like for example, like Striker or Breaker that has that one skill that does a lot of damage with Surge. It's just all in one damage. Like you have to pop like 7 skills to do all your damage, and it's over like for example like an 18-second period.
It's an 18-second period, yeah.
And then you have to reapply crit buff in between. If you want to be
Yeah, I
efficient.
mean that's why it also makes it 18 seconds, right? Because it's like an extra second to reapply
Mm-hmm.
crit buff in between your two skills.
They also need to fix the crit disparity on that class.
Oh yeah, it's a crit class that it's a crit class where literally like what 1600 crit I'm running and my focus shot is critting like 60 to 70% of the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which makes no
and
sense.
then the first 2 shots crit, and the last shot doesn't.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a lot of annoying stuff. Maybe put innate crit into rifles. That'll help it a lot. That'll help it out a lot.
Or how about this? Think of it. I have an idea for you guys. Make it so that the class scales off of crit. It does more damage based on the crit percentage it has. And then every
that'd be
time you
great.
swap guns, it applies a crit synergy to the boss.
Interesting.
I'll be down with that.
Like
It's,
integrated into Peacemaker.
Sounds like a class we already have, huh?
it sounds like a class we already have that we just got into the game. Interesting.
Stupid.
But yeah, that would be really good. Honestly, my only issue with the balancing in this game is that there are not enough like patches. There should be patches every month, minimum every
Yeah, I
single
agree.
month.
Do you
I mean,
think
It's like if
that
they're not in the
nice.
last patch, you got like 3 months to go to see if they're gonna touch your class. Otherwise, it's 6 months.
Yeah, agreed.
They would have to make the patches like a lot smaller though. Like the change is a lot smaller. Would you guys be okay with that? Because like right now, every time we get a patch these days, it's like somebody gets reworked or somebody gets a big change. Would you guys be okay with like less, like more frequent patches, but kind of like smaller incremental changes? I mean, that's kind of the
Yeah,
direction
that's
that they're
fine.
going in, right? They did
I
say
think it'll
that
be
they're going to
better.
be doing
that,
more
yeah.
patches.
It'll be better doing it that way. That way you don't fucking like make a class too powerful and then have to wait like another 3 months to like gut it, right? Whereas you can kind of like what they did with Reaper over the years, right? Where they kind of just gave it like, oh, we'll give you a 2% damage buff here, 1% here, another 2% here, and stuff like that. And then eventually just led up to a rework and it just became like a really good class, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if they just did that with all the other like classes that are left behind, it'll be pretty good.
There's just too much time in between patches. Like some classes that need like quality of life changes, they just feel like shit for so long.
I mean, you literally have classes I feel like that haven't been touched in forever, like or like haven't gotten the changes that they needed in forever, like FPE artillerists. Like at this point, it's like
That's true. Yeah.
who is playing in that class? Well, we know some people. Like I think Lustboy plays that class, but like
I play
you
that
know,
class.
you don't. You don't. Shut up. You
What?
have
I
one.
played in fucking L'Oreal. Is they not playing it though?
Yeah, but how? When was the last time you played on it?
I don't know, like a couple months ago.
Exactly.
But it's
Exactly.
1540. It was pumping.
But yeah, there are a lot of classes that just haven't gotten love that need to get some love from Smilegate, and I question like how they decide who gets like a buff or a nerf or like a rework, right? Is it truly the
Mhm.
loudest people? Because if that was the case, I feel like the gunslingers probably would have gotten something a long time ago.
I
That's
think
true.
it's I
Yeah.
think it's based on the age of the character, mostly.
Hmm.
Because I mean, they've done like reworks to all the older classes mostly, if I recall, or they've buffed them or changed some skills around. But they haven't done anything for like newer classes like Gunslinger and whatnot.
Well, Deadeye is a
Sork.
really cold old class though. They haven't gotten touched in a hot. Well, I mean, they did get their
No,
thing
they
in.
did. They got
They got
the
a
best
rework.
player
They
and
did.
whatnot.
But
And
they were
honestly,
part
I
of
feel
like
like
the first round ish, second round.
they're actually in a pretty good spot now, though. Pistolier is fun to play, and then that enhanced weapon is just insanely strong.
Oh,
But
and
like
Has
for that
Weapon
one,
is
you do
absolutely
need hand.
fucking strong as shit.
You just need
That class is
hand for
nuts.
it. It's very restrictive.
It's
But
very restrictive, a bit clunky in certain ways, but in terms of the amount of damage it does, it actually pumps.
Output is
Mhm.
actually nuts. I actually think my Deadeye does more damage than my Gunslinger.
I mean, I think
I
that's
feel
At
my-
first I
pretty
was
true.
trolling, but then now that I'm like really looking at the numbers, it's kind of insane.
And it's way less geared, right?
It's way less geared. Yeah, I don't even have tens on it, and it's pretty much like it's only behind my frog damage by like 2-3 mil.
I feel like I could say that for a lot of my classes, like when I compare it to my Gunslinger. Like the only reason why I'm still doing such high damage, not to like toot my own horn,
I toot it.
but that's a toot my own horn. But like the only reason why I'm doing so much damage because I have so much experience in the class and raid knowledge. But if I had like some experience, for example, on Deathblade or Soul Eater, I definitely feel like I could out DPS myself.
I mean,
on
your
Gunslinger.
Deathblade is fucking insane for not knowing how to play not maining the class.
Not knowing how to play the class.
Yeah, like you just have hands, so it's like, well, you're throwing out like 5-6 surges like a minute. Like that's fucking insane.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just I'm risking way too much compared to how I do it on my Gunslinger. But sure, Gunslinger has
Yeah.
more movement and everything, but
But
I had the same
Deathblade's
experience.
tanky. Fine, you can
it
eat
is,
shit.
but everybody doesn't like me doing
Huh? They bring me into this.
that.
I mean, that's insane though, because the average Deathblade players are throwing out like 2 surges a minute, 2.5. You know.
Well,
But-
yeah, but I mean, the only reason why I still haven't, so to speak, quit this game either is because I can just keep on trying to be better, and I'll see
Yeah.
myself getting better. I just like seeing that progression, seeing myself.
Yeah, that's
doing
good
more and
though.
more.
I guess that's kind of interesting. Like it kind of brings up the question, like, why do we still continue to play this game? Like it's we literally do the same thing over and over again every single week and repeat, right? Like
Yeah.
it's in many ways so tedious, but at the same time, I still have fun every week doing all my raids and stuff like that. Like, why do you guys think that? Like, what do you guys play for? What is like kind of like what is your drive to like continue playing this game?
It's not about the goal. It's about the friends you make along the way.
I mean, other than that,
I thought he was gonna say the journey.
very low. The reason why, I mean, I feel for myself at least that I play the game is because I have a good friend group, but it's good to see your damage being shown in a raid, like the progression that you make on a character when you get higher level gems and everything. It's good to see in a raid your improvement,
That's
I guess.
true.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed. Skill
honestly,
progression is important.
I mean, I make pretty dumb decisions. Like I have mostly like 7s and 9s on most of my characters, and I just hone and hone, and I don't actually invest in their gems and whatnot. But I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need to do that here because we share gems.
Yeah, I wish I was on Feyamine, man. I'm stuck here on Boshaza.
Yeah, what a loser.
I know. Unfortunate.
Like that's definitely the case for me though. Like the reason why I continue play this game every week is like I want to see myself get better. Like every raid is like an opportunity for me to take my class and like see how much I've gotten better since the last week. And I feel like I don't know. Do you think that's just a mindset that we hold because we're kind of like, I'm not like I would say we're all above average players for sure. Like we're all like, people who do pretty well at the game and like are motivated by increasing our damage and motivated by doing better and performing better. But do you think
Yeah.
that's something that I guess the reason why we continue play? Like is that the main reason why we keep being motivated? And it's like do you think that people who aren't motivated by this will find the game more boring quicker?
No, go ahead. No, you go.
I mean, I think the game really appeals to people who it wants to appeal. Like, it's definitely not a game for everyone. And like, you're taking into account like improving your character and just improving your understanding of the game and stuff. Like, that's something people want to come back to and see all the time, every week. Like, you only could do a raid once on your character, and then after you clear, you have to wait till another a week, or you play on alt or something. And I think it's like the game is kind of like a good medium between that as well as like other people who feel like the same way. And so when all that comes together, it creates this very addicting like gameplay that because I don't know how you guys felt, but when we had the 2-day maintenance for when they were merging servers, like I was not happy. I wanted to play the game, and I just knew that the game was good. Like that's how like there's aspects of the game that we all dislike, but we know that the game is good enough to log on every week, and we want to do that. So I don't know. That's what I think.
I think people enjoy the game for different reasons, obviously, right? Like for us, we enjoy it because of progression, like learning to play better, doing more damage and stuff like that, right? Some people play for the community, the friends and stuff. Like I also like that too. Like Noah stated, like I think I have a pretty good group of friends for Lost Ark. Right? We all kind of have like the same mindset and stuff like that. And also, true end game, the fashion, right? Some people haven't even reached that point of the game yet. So it's like, I don't know.
Like Miso,
There's-
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like, you're beautiful.
Yeah, so
This
there's like
fashion
that.
sense is so bad.
So bad,
dude. Guys, you're supposed to be on my side. You're my friends.
Huh?
Listen.
Yeah, we want you.
Like
we'll
they
help
don't
you.
get to
We
hear
want you
what
to
goes
be
on
better.
in the VC whenever you change like your fucking face.
But I kind of play for like all of that, It's like I like the clothes in Lost Ark. The characters are very likable. Friends keep you interested in the game. And even though we do the same shit every single day, it's not that bad. And if you want things to be interesting, you just go pugging with a friend and you just run into all types of interesting shit.
Oh, we don't need a fight. We can make it interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a MMO in a nutshell. Like I like how freely you can do things in this game. Like even missing out on dailies and stuff is not that big of a deal compared to like other games.
That's why with the 2 days that we had off, I kind of felt happy because it was just I guess
You
kind
know,
of
It's a fucking break, dude.
I think you're the only
This
one.
guy- This guy went outside. He stared at the sun. He's like,
dude. I felt kind of glad that there was like at least like a little break. I don't know, because I wouldn't force myself to take one. Hell no,
I feel like
I'm
you're pretty
unhealthy.
biased though, no? Because like you are also the guy who's like coming into our calls on a Monday and Tuesday, like who has race to do? I got 14 of them. Like,
Hey, that's also me. That's also me.
yeah, but it's like I don't know.
I mean, honestly, most of the time with that, I'm just joking because of that one week that you said you had 5 harder cons to do on a Tuesday, and I was like, what the fuck? But
Bro, it's tough out here, dude. It really be like that.
no, but nowadays I'm usually just being proactive on my race. It's just mostly dailies that I don't want to actually do.
I
But I
mean,
need
like
to
I
because
said,
I
that
have no silver.
you don't really need to do it unless characters you want to push up. Then yeah, do them unrested. But other than
Well, I
that, it's
mean,
like,
I also have only 3 mil silver, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does
Something
anyone
like
have
silver.
that clip of that one time fucking Noah sent Dirain on like the final
No.
pull of MegaCon at 11:55?
Wait, it's on Reddit somewhere.
It's
Yo.
like
Reddit.
somewhere out there.
fuck off,
It was
dude.
literally the last pull before maintenance. It was like X16, fucking 11:59. He Dirains instead away, and they wipe.
Yo, should I get it? Should I post it?
The shit is hella funny.
I've
That
talked about it
is-
on stream before too. It's so funny.
Oh, have you? Oh,
God, I hate you, man. That's easily the lowest point of my Lost Star career.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think it definitely makes sense that all of us play Lost Ark and continue to play every week because of kind of like the people that we met, but also like just I think in MMOs in general, it's all about kind of like min maxing how well we do, and also I think Lost Ark as a game is the type of game that really allows for a lot of self expression because it's not a tab target game, and it's not a game that you sit there and like channel attacks and like target a boss like that a ton. It's you really get to like, especially certain classes, really get to like you can see like a player who's much better than another player and how they play, and like the type of way that they play differs from like another person. So having that self-expression is really cool.
yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
Agreed.
agree.
gameplay and combat in this game is very good. It's one of the few things
Yeah,
that
you
they
have
did
such
right.
niche builds with some classes that are just incredibly strong.
Yeah, I mean, I came from, I mean, back in the day, I played a lot of WoW, and I mean, I've always loved raiding, and the raids in this game are just top notch. And obviously, like, I have to wait every week to do it, but I get to see progress even with myself. Like, I try every raid pretty much, just to see what I can do or try to maximize my rotation every time. But I mean, yeah, honing sucks, but in this game, like, I also have my good group of friends that I can play with, but even then, pugging is actually really easy in this game. Obviously, the first week or two of a new raid, it can be rough, but if you guys aren't around, I can just go pug some shit pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the
Well-
time in pugs, you can also just like, not to say carry yourself, but you can just pull more of your own weight, and you don't really need to worry about the pugs. That's how I feel.
Actually,
Like
have to
pugging
focus
works.
so hard when I'm pugging.
If I'm on support and I'm pugging, like, I don't want to. don't want to pug on support. I'm fine doing it on
No.
GPS, but
With my support, I just come on like a group raid with us or something. I
Yeah, your
hate-
support's ass.
Okay, I'll stop supporting you, man.
I'm just kidding, man.
You're making me cry over here, man.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't know anymore. So nah.
I don't know anymore. It's crazy.
I guess in terms of like also maybe now we've talked about a little about the current and the past, like thinking about the future, right? Theamine, I think a couple of us are Theamine ready, hard Theamine ready, right? I think Eric, did you say that you're hard Theamine ready already?
I'm basically ready. Like my bard right now is 1624. I have the means to push it right now. I'm just slow pushing it until then. Like I
Uh-huh.
do not want to liquidate some of my extra level 10 damage gems, but I will if I have to.
Yeah, I mean I'm 1625 right now, but I'll just sell gems and whatnot if I need to. I'll just hope I get lucky, so I don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then I know Zev, you're 1640 on your main.
I mean,
It's the kid already, bro.
I I was ready for Daemon before. I'm really honestly just pushing for GVG. Like the 1640 gap is huge. Like I compare myself to somebody else, a friend from a different guild, and how difficult it takes him to or her. I don't know their gender, but like it takes them to kill me. They them. But
Pushing for
yeah,
GVG is wild.
yeah, I want to be 60-50 before Echidna, but
That's
yeah, just
crazy. All
I don't have
right.
the means without swiping very hard for it right now for 60-50. But anyway, I want to do the first also. But yeah, I'm ready for
Dude, we
Daemon.
need to
He's
do his
just
roster review
He's just
sometime.
playing a different game, I guess.
Honestly, I feel like I am. Like sometimes you guys mention issues or problems, and I'm like, I don't understand. I mean, I can be sympathetic, but I don't have the empathy for it.
What do you mean you don't have gold to own? Huh?
I don't think I've ever said that, but
Wait, what?
I'm like,
Like, all right.
What do you mean you're under 100K? I don't remember. I think the last time I was under 100K was maybe when I made my first
100K for
character.
him.
I'm
No,
not
for
at
him,
100K for like years. I'll be honest.
Dude, I still remember this moment when
Fuck
I
me,
realized
dude.
that like he's like too fucking rich was when he was cutting elixirs, right? And you know those catalyst things that you need to buy?
Oh yeah.
I watched
J
him
catalyst?
go into the thing and just
He
scroll
maxes it
all the
out.
way to the max and just click. He didn't even think about it.
This guy goes, I hate cutting elixirs, and he's scrolling endlessly down his uncut elixirs.
I do
This is
cut
like the first
elixirs.
week of Voltus or some shit. I'm like, fuck.
It's like
Also
crazy
think
when
about
you
it.
like watch this guy hone to 1640 and he comes out of it with more gold than he did before.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
funny.
we can do that roster review after if you want, after the podcast is over.
Crazy how the credit card works.
Yeah, the credit card. I mean, there are
He's a
ways to
hard
make
worker,
money.
man.
I mean, I do swipe, but like, I also think I spent more time on the game than most people
Oh,
do.
oh
definitely
yeah,
have
you,
a lot
you grind a
more
lot.
average
How many
hours
hours
than
are you?
everybody
How
else.
many hours are you?
I'm at 8,800. Like, I don't really AFK
Sheesh.
and leave my computer on, but
Oh,
like, you know,
okay.
I'm usually
at
at my
th-
computer when I'm AFK.
I'm at
Yeah, go ahead.
13K, so
Yeah, but you leave it on when you go to like work and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Zev is ready, Eric is almost ready. Roger, are you 1630 yet?
No, I'm not pushing for it because I don't have a party, and I don't
Mm.
know. Eventually, I'm gonna push for 1630, but just not week one.
FNA, where are you at?
I'm 1630.
1630. Of
I
course.
can easily hit it though because my weapon's 24. I'm just pushing for a 25 right now. So
I mean, FNA is the second biggest whale I know behind Zev.
Excuse me?
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Bro.
How rich?
Why
He's
does
also
everyone
got
think I
that
wail
zero
in this
energy
game?
and everything, man.
No, she's not a whale.
There's no way you're out here doing like 50% in every fight without wailing. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not a whale.
And Noah, where are you at?
It's at 1625 right now. I'm slow
Wait, what?
pushing, but-
What? Say that again?
You sound kind of low.
Oh my bad, I was far away. I'm 1620. I was
1620?
1625 right
Oh my
now.
bad, I was far away. Holy shit.
And for those of you who have pushed to 1630, how much do you think it costs you between 1620 to 1630?
I don't want to talk about
I have an analogy. I don't know. I know how good my analogies are, but it's yeah. I mean, you know, like I don't know if you want to stop me, but if not, okay. Like it's like, you know, going to the top of like Mount Everest, and then, you know, the next 10 eye levels like going into space, and then the next 10 eye levels going to the moon, and then the next 10 eye levels going to Jupiter. I'm imagining 6040 and 6050 like going out of the solar system. How crazy it is. I need 5 mil auto shards to start, kind of thing. And I had like 3 mil auto shards to start from 1630 to 6040.
Like,
So-
what's your chance to tap now? Is it like 1.5% or something?
I think it's about 1. I mean, at this point, I'm
Or
solaring
1%?
everything. Yeah, I think. I mean, I haven't
Is
tried,
it
but
1% with solars?
no. Oh, maybe.
You should
I
be
don't want
solaring
to. I don't want
everything,
to.
though.
Yeah, at this point, I need to
okay.
solar everything.
It's cheaper.
It's
that
definitely
matters
Has
to
cheaper.
you.
to be.
Like it's not just the weapon angle; it's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. Yeah. I agree.
I'm so scared, but you
Well,
know,
I mean,
I'll
actually,
come across the bridge later.
since you're 1640, did you not want to just wait for like the advanced honing, like the sort of lower cost eye levels, or would you?
He
just
wants it
still-
for GVG.
You know, I mean, I could do a kin like whenever it comes out, then and there. But like, I mean, the 1650 gap, like, it's so hard for other people to get there also. So when you have that and you go do unequalized content like GVG, it really shows, and people really feel it. I mean, I honestly love unequalized content. Honestly, like,
Sidereal weapon, bro.
what's up?
Might as well just get a sidereal weapon.
That is insane levels of like, that's like going to outside the Milky Way
Okay,
kind of.
but here's the
money.
thing: you've
The
already
Milky-
spent the money though to technically get one.
It's huge. No, I think you could get
No,
like
I don't think he
2
is.
or 3 characters to like 1650 with that amount of money it takes to get to a Sandero weapon. Like, it's a whole nother level. I need to like increase my salary by like 1 extra digit before I think about that.
But that's the thing, though. For your characters, when you push them up, you're not like. I don't think your characters look like a whale for the most part. Like, unless you saw
'Cause I
every single
spread them.
character in your roster, you're like, oh wow, this person's a whale. But if you looked at one character individually, they're all kind of like, the minimum requirement to get to that. It's not like you're pushing everything into your weapon, or it's like you're not like maxing out every character with like level 10 gems, or like, juicing everything to 100 quality. You're like pushing them like, I mean, it's not economically pushing them because it's not economic at all. But like, for getting to that, you're like trying to do what, is like the cheapest method, right?
Yeah, I try to be conscious. I mean, I definitely throw money where I shouldn't be throwing it. And if I start the game now, like fresh, like everyone did, and get to where I am now, I would definitely take a different approach to it. And that's just kind of like the hindsight thing. But yeah, I tend to spread my money out according to all my characters, so I can do those raids competently with like a character that's not just like getting carried by damage or whatever. I try. Maybe I still am, but that's my thought process.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And I guess back to the Theamine topic. Are you guys excited for Theamine, or are you kind of like, I don't know, a little bit like, it's a little bit too soon, or it's like, oh, I'm a little scared about like how hard I've heard it is.
I'm actually excited for how hard it is, and that's why.
Hey, yo!
Same.
Hey, yo, pause.
I love it, bro.
Like, honestly,
Hey,
these like,
yo.
past few raids, they've been, like we've procced them, sure, but they're just read a guide and then do them. Daemon is like you can read a guide and everything, but you can still get fucked up.
Yeah, it took you like 20 days, right, to clear the first?
Something like that, if I recall. But it's
And they have guides, they have information, and it still was that difficult.
And honestly, I'm
Yeah.
more hyped for our version to race more than KR's because there's just a lot more competitive people. I feel you have people that like progged it already in RU and KR that bought accounts for it and whatnot, and it's just gonna be exciting to see who is actually racing.
Do you guys think that the overall like skill level for NAEU's SA is like higher than KR?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the better players are higher on average, but I do think that we have like the lower ceiling or lower floor. Sorry. So like we have higher ceiling, lower floor in terms of players.
Do you guys think that
Interesting.
like the difference in like skill is because of like the tools that we have, like the Bible?
I would think it contributes to it.
I think that and like the nature of how people approach MMOs in the West versus in KR, but that's a good question.
That's
There's
true,
good and
yeah.
bad players everywhere. I think
That too.
like, all the player bases they're relatively like the same. Like there's good players, there's bad players, there's average players.
Mm-hmm. But do you think like our region has like, I don't know. I always feel like, and I always say this, right? People who play with the Bible are likely, for the most part, going to be better than people who play without it. It's not going to be every single person, right? But like it's kind of like how to say this. When you have the resources, like if you're in a class, right? You're in school. Having a teacher teach you how to do something is a lot better than not having a teacher, right? It's kind of the same
100%
thing.
agree.
The
True.
Bible is kind of like a teacher in the sense they're telling you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and you can use that to kind of improve upon your gameplay. It's not necessarily that everybody who's getting taught by the teacher is going to be better than those who aren't, but on average, for most people, they are kind of, going to be having an advantage over than those that don't have that information or data.
Mhm.
I
I
100%
mean,
agree
it's
with
how
you.
you use
Agree.
it too, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's what I usually use it for, anyways. I'm trying to just see where I can improve and where I fucked up. And
I mean, I don't use the Bible. Sometimes I ask for the information, but I also came from like WoW where I did run logs and I went over the logs and so like I understand from other games uptime, so I don't know, I don't need that. I don't think every player needs that to know whether they're doing well or not.
I think it's a useful tool, and I wish Smilegate put in some kind of version that's not toxic. Like, you could see like maybe average damage it takes to clear a raid, and like you could just use it for your own parse, but not like use it to flame other people. So I don't know. I honestly think it would help more if we had some version of it out. I understand their stance on it, but
yeah,
it's kind
especially
of
for
hard to
supports,
improve.
dude.
Yeah, it's hard to improve when you don't know how good or
the
bad you're doing.
5% support and how mode.
Yeah, that's true.
I think for supports, especially the Bible is very very useful, and like honestly, it's not even just useful; it improves the enjoyment of a lot of people who play support because
Hmm.
you other like if you don't
The game
use
gives
it,
no feedback for
yeah, it gives you no
supports.
feedback. You don't know how well you're doing. You don't know what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Like you could go for like play support forever and just never realize that, either A, you're absolutely crazy at support, or B, you're, not playing it right. I think that for support specifically, having the Bible is a overall just like improvement to gameplay for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Agreed.
And I mean, I always say this, but having a personal DPS meter, having a personal Bible is, I think, the best way to go. Just like
Yeah.
it doesn't give you any information about other players. If you want to give people your information, like you can do it that way. They can coach you. Like, hey, I've been noticing in your numbers here and there, like this doesn't look right, that doesn't look right. This is areas you can improve upon yourselves, and you can like, oh, here's mine, and you can compare. It's like here's where I'm doing this better than you and things like helping people improve that way as well would be really nice for like personal logs.
Yeah, especially at the point in the game where we're at with raids and how difficult they are. Like, you can't just like have a supporter just stand around, give yearning, and you assume, oh, you're doing work. Like you need to play the game, and you need to know like areas that you can improve because the raid punishes you otherwise, and then other people
Pushes your entire
like
team on your
yeah,
side.
it punishes everybody, and you need to be carrying your weight, and it's I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's Lost Ark's a
That's
tough
going to
game.
be especially important in Daemon, like a new prog.
Oh,
Supports matter
100%.
so much more. Like
That's
it's
why
so different than like supporting in reclear content where you're just trying to like do as high buff uptimes as you can do.
I mean, literally supports the meta is like what heavy armor 3 and whatever
Crisis.
crisis evasion. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
it
crazy.
is.
It's something that we're definitely not used to, and I think people are going to have to get a lot more
And Etherpred for
accustomed.
DPS.
Well, Etherpred is another thing. I think Etherpred, I've heard the explanation is because there's a gate, I forget which one, it might be 3 or 4 or maybe both, where it makes it so you can't heal really with your potions, but you have
I see, I see.
vampirism. So
Oh, I see.
if you're running Cursed Doll, you're healing nothing. But because it
Mm.
reduces your healing by a ton, but then it gives you vampirism. So if you have Cursed Doll, on top of this reduced healing, you're basically not healing at all. Whereas if you're running Ether Predator, you don't have that negative where you're healing less and you're able to actually heal with the vampirism.
Is that really a thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least as far as I understand it. I think there's also a damage buff that's an attack power one, like the scaling. Like it just makes more sense with how long the fight is, plus the attack buff, plus that. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing up gates though.
I just
But
thought
Ether Pred
people
just
like
makes more sense.
favored Etherpred in Gate 4 of Daemon was mostly because like it's like a half hour plus fight. So there's gonna be a lot of potion fatigue, so
Half
they take off
hour.
Cursed Doss for
Is there a reset on potions between I don't know.
Gate 4 and
I've only
5, I
looked at like
believe.
the first couple gates, like guide wise.
I think there is a reset on regular hard, but none on the first.
On the first, ooh.
Oh wait, so 4 and 5
Although
are
I'm
just
not
one.
100% sure
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
not 100% sure yet.
I guess we can cross that bridge when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just made a swap, built for a swap for Cursol for Aetherpred.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, you probably don't have to do that. You have better options than
I'm
Etherpad.
just still gonna do it anyways.
Just to keep yourself a little tankier, and
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, actually, do you think people will be going for the first before they clear?
I think some
normal
will.
payment or
Yeah, I
Homer
think
payment?
some will.
Some people definitely will, especially people if they have like progged it in other
Whether they
regions.
clear or
well,
not
they're
is a
separate
different
now
story.
anyways, right? Like, wouldn't they want to go do hard to get some of the mats and then have a
Oh,
little
true.
boost going
We
into?
can get some
I don't
transcendence.
first.
know. There are actually a lot of good players. I remember week 1 of Voldus, people were just straight up dismantling and selling the elixirs they cut. Obviously, no, I guess they cut it all, but they just want to take advantage of the gold then and there. So it might be a similar issue where they take advantage of the first and then they, I don't know, use that title or something to make more money.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have
We'll
to do hard
see.
mode first. I see.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well,
I don't think you have to do it first. I think they're just separate in our version, whereas KR had the first and was basically
the first
Hard
was
hard
what
was
they
the
had.
first.
together.
Yeah.
What hard was the first.
Mhm.
Then they
Yeah.
made a separate.
Yeah. But I think overall we're kind of excited for Daemine. And some of us are doing normal, some of us are doing hard, and I think the normal ones for the most part should be fine. Hard, I mean, you guys will be fine on hard, but
Yeah, normal
it's gonna
will
take
be
a
chill.
bit. It's gonna take a bit for you guys to clear, probably.
Yeah, and then doing the extra gates for gold after the fact, on top of doing
Dude,
the
we
first.
haven't sorted out what party you're in. We gotta make a content party.
Yeah. Oh yes.
We'll
see,
see. We'll
that.
see.
The normal.
I mean, I'm planning to get. I need to get my striker up to par, like get some level 10 gems on my character for once, and not make it bare minimum for that party for sure.
You could
But
borrow some, right?
We're probably too overgeared for normal. Like,
Normal
maybe
has like
you're
no
right.
DPS check.
You're right,
It's
and we're
like you could
all
do a
like
level 7
16,
gems.
20 with like
our
40
ults are
They tuned-
elixirs.
16, 20, 9, 10s.
They tuned normal to not even include 40 set.
Yeah. I think the idea is they want you to do normal, like the average player, not like a whale or something. That you go, you're 1610, you do normal, you get the transcendence, and then you hone up, and then you do Voldus hard mode kind of thing, and then you also you hone up and do that, and then you do Daemine hard after you have the transcendence and the 40 set.
Or you
Like, that's
could
the
wait
original
for
path.
Echidna at 1620 now.
Yeah,
then
and that even, yeah.
which is probably
So
the path for our alts. Well, for us normal
the
dolphins.
the average
Salmon.
ult that they think
Yeah.
people are at. Yeah, I get you.
Got it. Okay. Well, I think, we're about at the hour and a half mark, so let's go on to the last question. I know some of you guys might have some stuff to do after this too. But I mean, again, in the theme of kind of looking towards the future, like how, what are kind of like what has been your favorite moment of Lost Ark so far? And like what do you want to see from like Lost Ark going forward? I don't know if anybody has anything on the top of their head, but if you do, you can go first.
Definitely all the products. Those are the most fun. I
Yeah.
still remember during the first week where Braille came out, there was this one it's like, what was the cube? Was it G4? Yeah, it was G4. We were doing it all the way to fucking maintenance. It was 11:50. We were like trolling for like the past hour, and we're like, all right, guys, one more pull. And on the last pull, we cleared with like 1 second left to berserk at 11:59.
Oh my gosh.
And then I remember in the auction, like everyone was saying to skip the bid so that it could get to the box before the server closed, but someone just kept putting fucking bids on the earlier items. And
Oh
the server
no.
closed.
Oh no.
That's a core memory. That was really funny.
Do you what do you want to see from Lost Ark going forward this year? Like, what is there one thing that you wish that Lost Ark could do this year?
Mm, I don't know if we'll get it, but like I said earlier, we need more balance patches. They need to be more often, once a month. Maybe like once every 2 weeks is too much to ask for in a MMO. Because like I come from other games that do that, but like I think once a month is fair.
Got it. Got it. Anybody else have like a good highlight and like what they want to do, what they want to see from Lost Ark this year?
I think. Oh, okay. No, you go.
Oh,
You
go
go.
ahead.
You go.
No, you go. You go.
Okay. I think a highlight is just anytime we ever like kind of clear a raid for the first time, it's always like this big high. Like you've been progging for days, especially like when we did Extreme Vulcan, and then we finally clear it. That's just that rush that you feel, and then that excitement that you have. So that's always like the highlight. I feel of like playing Lost Ark, and you only get that feeling like once every so often. You're not seeing it every week when you do homework. It's just like, okay, it's cool, I cleared it. But the first time you do it, it feels really good. In terms of stuff I want to see from Lost Ark this year, I mean, I generally want to see more quality of life, like updates to like homework and stuff. Like I feel like there's like all this stuff that we like. The really fun part is like the raids, and then we have to do all this other stuff most of the time around the raids, and that stuff over the years has gotten better for sure. But I think they need to not stop working on that. They need to like keep working on that, and that's just stuff that I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Roger.
Highlights? I don't know. I don't really remember anything.
This game's been shit for the entirety of the last 2
I
years.
wouldn't say it's shit. I mean, kind of like everything they said, right? It's like, yeah, that's true too. But for like personal highlights for myself, I don't know, nothing really interesting. But something I look forward to because aren't they adding like music sheets into the game? Right?
Oh yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah,
You could like
I
play
think
Despacito
that's
in your
fucking cool
stronghold
as
or
fuck.
something.
I'm actually really hyped for that because I mean, like during like Maple Story 2, right? That was like a big thing for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like making sheets and stuff on like thingies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That way you can play you can play One Spark in okay.
Oh my god.
No.
No. No.
I'm not giving you that music sheet. Fuck.
Got it. What do you want to see for Lost Ark of the next year? I mean, I guess you kind of said that you want to see more like stuff, customizable stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, more customizable stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anybody else? Highlight and what you would want to see from Lost Ark this year.
You go, FNA, because I saw you on mute.
Oh.
No way.
I was thinking. I think I love the raids. I love Prague. That's my favorite time in this game. Obviously, biggest highlight in this game in the last 2 years was Vulcan, clearing Vulcan for the first time. I know that seems like so long ago, but I was playing with like real life friends. They don't play anymore, but like just like that first raid experience in this game, and Vulcan is just such a good raid. Like it really got me
is.
hyped. And then also, the reason that I started playing this game was because of Saint's video of Brel. I remember the
Mhm.
first time going into Brel Gate 6 with the background music turned all the way up, like, and how epic that fight was. That's definitely a highlight for me.
Mm-hmm. And what do you want to see from Lost Ark this year?
Yeah, just I guess more quality of life. I agree with Eric. I'd like to see more balance, like to see it more often. And they've talked about like more solo content. Like I would like to see that. I would like to be able to play my main more.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would love that. And Noah?
I mean, it's just mostly for me, just looking for more fun stuff to do, like doing Thyrane at 11:55 on reset.
Oh, no.
Ain't no way. Get me out of that fucking
Or
party.
absolutely having FNA and Germ heal me the entire time. But
Yo, fuck this guy.
yeah, it's just mostly those fun moments. I don't know. I've quit like twice since I
Damn.
started the game, but I always
You want to
kept
quit
coming
again
back.
or what?
I'm about to if you don't stop supporting me. I
I got you, bro.
no,
Don't
I'm
worry.
joking. But yeah, I mean, mostly what I'm looking for in this game for the future is just harder raids. I like the aim mine. I like seeing all the prog and everything. But I do wish it was somewhat like a solo raid or something that's less players. That's just hard. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just like hard content, and this game isn't too hard compared to like other games that I've played. But I just want to see, I guess, difficulty becoming higher. But I know that that's not what the community wants. This community is more casual than looking for a challenge. From what I've noticed.
Hmm. Yeah. And for me, I think definitely it's kind of on the same line as FNA about Vaulton, but maybe it's recency bias, but Extreme Vaulton has been some like the most enjoyable raid that I would say that I've had raiding experience I've had in the history, like the entirety of Lost Ark. Like I don't know, I just love that raid so much. It's so much fun, and seeing FNA on the ground at the end of every single one of our clears, it's actually kind of it's like wow, finally this girl who's been
And
absolutely been a terror in every single one of our content. For some reason she just can't survive here. So perfect.
I was still out damaging you.
We don't
That's
talk
not hard
about
to do.
that. We don't talk about that. But yeah, I mean that's probably my highlight. And then for what I want to see from Lost Ark this year, I mean there's a lot of things I want to see, but like I'm the type of person that like really wants and advocates for like new players and new player experience. So like I've talked about this before, but I really wish and really want them to have like some better way for people to test out classes. Like the current character creator, the current class tester, it's not it. And I want to be able to give people the opportunity to try out class, even myself, right? I think all of us would benefit from a class tester, a better class tester, to see if like next power pass, what I want to make, next Makoko Express, what I want to make, instead of making like a mistake and like, ooh, yeah, CO Summoner, that was not really it. That was not the choice. That was not the call. I dropped that shit in like a week.
I do
Mhm.
feel that it should be like a Trixian before you make a class. Like you should be able to customize everything that you want about the class and actually test out the build first before you do it.
Hmm. I mean, I've said this before. Give like they already have it in the game, like a Makoko Express, like the presets. Just have those in Trixian at the beginning. Like you just do that. That would be nice. But
To touch more on that point for the new player experience, like I definitely think there needs to be a way to like I don't know onboard a new player through all the stuff that we went through back in the day, like because you toss a new player nowadays they just hop straight into like what like clown bro like they're missing like all the fundamentals like
I mean, clown is extremely hard, right? To just
mhm.
jump into. Like, I feel like if I didn't have the experience of going through Lost Ark from the beginning, I would not know how to do clown. Like, just jumping straight into it. There's so much shit you need to learn in that raid.
We have a friend actually, Miso,
Yeah.
Roger, and I that is going through the game for the first time, and when he asks for advice, I'm thinking also the same thoughts as Miso. Like, what do you tell him? Like, I could tell a returning player what to do, but a new player from the start,
Yeah, like
there's
what do
just
you
so much
do?
knowledge.
Like as a fresh power
Yeah.
past level 14, like I level 14 60 new player, when he asked me like what should I do? I'm like I
There's
wouldn't
so much
rec
shit. Yeah.
and it's like I wouldn't recommend him to hop into a raid right now because he wouldn't be able to do it. He would get gate kept like crazy. I wouldn't recommend him to hop into Chaos Dungeon immediately because I want him to like hone up a little bit, but at the same time he has no way to hone up. And it's like, does he do the story? Well, right now, if you're power passing a character to the Elgacia power pass that you get for free, you skip all the story up to Plechia and Voldus, and Plechia is an absolute snooze fest. So it's like, do I really want him to play Plechia? That's like the worst story to play through. Like, so it's like I don't know what I would recommend them to even do as a brand new player starting out of the game right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad because one of my coworkers was like asking about the game I play and like, oh, he's like, oh, should I try it? And part of me wants to say like, oh, I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
I don't want to discourage people from trying Lost Ark. Like,
no, I
come
just
try it.
told him like you should try it, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you should take the power pass on your first character. Yes, they're giving it to you for free, but you should probably play through the story and like
Yeah,
use that
I
for an
agree.
alt, but none of that is told to a new player.
True.
Mhm.
I guess
Yeah.
those solo Vulcan and solo Vicus can't come soon enough.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, and it's those are gonna we'll see what happens for like supports and those like content as well. So
Hmm.
we'll see. I don't know. I guess again it's about an hour 45 ish. I know you guys have stuff to do, so I guess any last remarks before we kind of close this out? Like anything else you wanted to say, or like any thoughts you've had throughout the podcast that I didn't really end up touching on.
Tier 4.
Tier
Oh,
4.
tier 4 is a
This
terrible
pipe.
idea.
I mean,
Zeb
honestly,
can't
they
like
kind
that
of
idea.
should. I mean, they kind of should. Like, they just keep introducing so many like vertical progression systems into the
Soft
game.
resets somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you get like, like we talked about the new player experience, how do you get someone to do all these different things? How do you get them to cut their engravings, their Billy Stone, do their bracelet, do like elixirs, all this stuff? Like, this is just, and then they're adding more stuff too, like Transcendence. And it's, I don't know, like, I think if they want to get new players into the game, they need to do something.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is either, but there's a very big difference between like when we first stepped into a Legion raid versus a new player now. Like we
Yeah.
went through fucking Sea of Indolence, Verdes, Acades, all the other bullshit for like a whole year before we got Legion, or not a whole year, like a few months before we got our first Legion raid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our ghosts. Those are good times.
And I've said this before as well. It's like with raids, like they're getting harder and harder and harder and harder, right? If you're a brand new player hopping into your raids and your first raid that you can do is like clown, it's like, well, shit. But whereas our first raids was like, see, like you said, Sea of Indolence, or like
Argos.
Argos, or even Volton.
Or Ray
Like
has.
yeah, or Reyha as well. Like those were like so much simpler and introduced like, and I think people have always said this, but Lost Ark, a lot of the stuff that you do in the game builds up into the next content, right? I mean, we're still seeing Velganos to this day, and that was like a raid for like what, tier 2 at the end of tier 2. So it's like you learn all these things from like the earlier content, which new players don't really get to experience at all. Like they're just hopping straight into like Clown, hopping straight into Braille, hopping straight into all these raids that are supposed to be for players that have played the game for a while and has a lot of mechanics that we recognize. So it's like learning them is not as overwhelming because we're technically not learning 10 mechanics. We're probably only learning like 7 or 6, but these people are learning the full 10.
Yeah.
Yep. But awesome. Thank you guys so much for, being on this podcast with me, the first podcast. And kind of being the guinea pigs for all this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I definitely I definitely had a lot of fun with it, and hopefully everybody watching enjoyed it. Of course, this will be up on YouTube. But if you guys, I don't know, maybe we're all on NA West Theamine server. I don't know
No.
if you guys, well, except for Noah, I guess you're
So
on
Noah.
Brel. Sorry. But
Loser.
you guys, I guess before we head out, just I don't know if you guys want to share your IGNs or anything like that. Feel that maybe some people might want to like play with you guys or something down the line. But
My IGN is Chalupa Cabra.
all
Find me in
right.
game. Please chat me up.
No way.
Yeah, well,
My
I guess
IGN
maybe.
is FNA. I'm very lonely. Come at me.
Boys.
But I guess we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, being on this podcast. It's like an hour, almost 2 hours, so that's a lot of your time. So I appreciate it. And maybe again in the future we'll have some of the, another one of these. And if you guys want to join, happy to have you. But also understand if you guys are like, yeah, never again, fuck this.
No, this was fun. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
My
Thanks for
podcast.
having us, Miso.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. I mean, if you guys want to leave the Discord, feel free to, whatever you guys want. But we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank y'all. Hope we all enjoyed it. And yeah, Well, hopefully this is the first of many. All right, guys.
Next 4 seconds, don't play with him. All right. See ya.
I want a roster review.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Take
Uh,
care.
Unless
See
that's
ya.
happening later. then
We'll
it's
do it
fine.
later. We'll do it some other time.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Oh damn, people just leaving.